Just a disclaimer, this video is a little different than what I normally do. Usually I'm just doing like how-to videos and fun stuff. But this is just something I've been seeing everywhere. And I just wanted to add a little commentary to it. You may like it, you may not like it, you may disagree. Hey, we can all respect that, right? So what is going on with Gen Z, right? I've been seeing so many videos online. I'm a millennial. And something's going on with Gen Z, and it is not good. It's not a good thing. And I, for one, think that it can't be ignored by the older generations. And if you're in a position to help Gen Z, maybe not with money, but anyway, mental health, I don't know, mental help, anything, you should do it. Because it's easy to dismiss the younger generations. We've had it done to us when we were the younger generation. It's not a good thing. So let's just watch all this. I want you guys to check all this out. Ready?
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel hopeful for the future? I mean, like when you think about humanity, do you think that tomorrow will be better than today? Well, for some reason, a lot of young people don't. According to the Walton Family Foundation, Gen Z is nearly twice as likely as previous generations of Americans to battle feelings of depression and hopelessness. And even more alarming, they're 3 times more likely to say their challenges are so severe they thought they might be better off dead. And so that begs the question, why is Gen Z so hopeless? And more importantly, what can we do about it?
So, I mean, Gen Z is feeling hopeless, and there's a lot of reasons. I want to get into some of them here right away, but I want just to further hit this point home. I just went on to YouTube. I started looking at some shorts, right? And I just scrolled through a couple. Watch this. I mean, this you could go on for days. Listen to this.
For some reason, there's a lack of ambition. There's an emotional immaturity where it doesn't click that, oh, this is what adults are supposed to do. And I'm not sure why, but we're a really fragile generation. I'm sure people have noticed that. And that's in part due to, I think, what we've gone through about.
And I think that the biggest problem that our generation is facing is hopelessness.
Everything I read about the younger generation, like, it worries me. Everything I read is like Gen Z is the most depressed, anxiety-ridden generation of all time.
Gen Z is the most depressed generation in world history.
I mean, all right, guys, I know you can dump on them and say, hey, they're fragile, they're this, but if it's a whole generation feeling this way, don't you think there's something we as the older generations have to do to help? I mean, you got to think that. You can't, and here's some of the reasons why I think Gen Z might be feeling this way. So right now, here you go, an average mortgage rate of 6.125 now, right? Historically, 6.125 historically, not really that high, actually. In the 80s, I think it was the 80s, when I was a kid, I was young, there was probably higher rates than that. But the problem is you compound that 6.125, right, or higher. That's like as low as, which probably is a teaser rate, probably looking closer to the mid 6 and like 6.5. But you can combine that with the U.S. median home price was $412,000 in September of 2023, according to Redfin. Now, that's a lot of money. And you have a higher interest rate, you have a higher price for a home, right? So let's do the math here, guys. Here's a $400,000 home, close enough to the 412, I think, right? I just threw this up there. You would need an $80,000 down payment to equal, I believe, a 20%, right? 80,000. Who has? I don't have $80,000, and I'm not a Gen Zer. How would they have $80,000, right? So if you punch in 30 years, property tax of $2,700, which is pretty typical. PMI, I don't think the PMI is actually calculated because it's 20% down payment. Then you got home insurance. You're looking at a $2,300, almost $2,400 monthly note. That's super high, especially if you're in your 20s and you're trying to buy your first home. Think about that. All right, so I went to ChatGPT. I just wanted a quick answer here. An annual income of $102,857 is needed to be able to like comfortably live and support that mortgage payment. And you think Gen Zers in their early 20s are making that kind of money? Because I don't think they are. I think that's more of a millennial salary, an established millennial salary, right? Not a Gen Zer's salary. And to further back that up, I found this tab. I'm going to go through these tabs. I got a few more here. The current median income for Gen Z workers nationwide is around $37,300. If you times that by 2, you have two people, a man and a woman maybe, whatever the situation is. You got 2 people though, right? That's under $80,000. And what do we need to afford the median house? $102,000, right? So you're already falling short there. You're falling short. How do you get established, right? And then to complicate that matter is if you're a Gen Zer who maybe wants to. I know a lot of Gen Zers don't want to have kids, but maybe if you have that idea of the American dream, the house, maybe you want to have a kid, right? The average kid cost $310,000. Now, you could say that's high, you could say that's low, whatever, but it's expensive. We all know kids are expensive, right? Now, if you're making under the amount to buy this home already, and you want to have a kid, I could see where hopelessness would set in. You can't even have the American dream that you've been promised or you've been told about, right, your whole life, right? And then there's other things going on. And I'm not hitting every topic. I'm sure there's so many more complications to this, right? You got things like AI. Artificial intelligence could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. A report by investment bank Goldman Sachs says, right? So, I mean, what jobs are going to go first? Well, the automated jobs that are probably low paying would be the first ones to go, I would imagine. And then it would move up the ranks, right? How could young people not wind up feeling down? I mean, it's not possible, I don't think. And a study here shows that Gen Z, obviously, Gen Z seems to be the most depressed generation in history, right? However, they're more likely to seek out therapy, which is definitely a good thing, right? But about 37% of them said they'd visited mental health professionals, more than any other generation. And you see this stat here, Gen Z, 45% of them, right, have, I gotta read this sideways, have very good or excellent mental health. That's less than half feel healthy mentally. So guys, I'm just saying, I'm not like in a position to help people financially right now because I'm still raising young kids and, it's a struggle. But I'll help a Gen Zer in any way I can, in any way that I'm able to. If I could give them some money, I'm going to do it. If it's just sitting down talking to them, if it's trying to, I think every generation who's older owes the younger generations to help them. And if you got Gen Z kids and you notice they're feeling helpless, I mean, they're your kids. Don't you think you should do whatever it takes to not have them feel that way? Just my thoughts.